Welcome to the See-Through Podcast, a podcast that creates transparency on disabilities and the champions with them. I am your host, Lance Johnson, and this makes episode 21 of the podcast. Today's episode features a musician, which is a first for the podcast. That musician is Pete Dankelson. Pete is a 20-year-old guitarist who has Goldenhar syndrome. Goldenhar syndrome is a craniofacial syndrome, which means that it causes certain abnormalities in the formation of the face and head. It is considered a rare disease and a congenital one, meaning it's present at birth. And due to Goldenhar syndrome, Pete has undergone 35 surgeries. And Pete found his passion for playing guitar at the age of 15, and he used it to get through his toughest recoveries. Despite his medical history, Pete has such a positive energy to him, which made our conversation super chill and fun. And Pete is the inspiration and musician behind Pete's Diary, which is a company that amplifies the power of positivity and self-acceptance through music and motivational speaking. On this episode, you'll hear all about Pete's Diary. You'll hear me and Pete nerd out on Guitarist and guitar gear. We talk about his guitar playing and how he practices, his goals as a musician, and an online personality. And speaking of being an online personality, Pete currently has 120,000 followers on Instagram and over 270,000 followers on TikTok. So make sure to give him a follow there. His handle is @Pete's.diary. And while we're talking social media, do me a huge favor and give the See-Through Podcast a follow. The handle is @SeeThroughPod, and that covers Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Additionally, and if you haven't yet, subscribe or follow to the podcast on whatever streaming platform you are listening on. That way, you'll be the first to hear new episodes and stay up to date with the podcast. I definitely appreciate it. But before hearing my conversation with Pete, here's a little audio bite of Pete absolutely shredding. Super excited to talk to you because you're my first musician on the podcast.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
First, I want to say, I see you have a Slash t-shirt on.
Yes, I do.
Right on. Is Slash one of your guitar heroes?
Yeah, he's definitely one of my biggest influences and heroes, for sure.
Nice. You seem to be a lot of people's, guitar hero, online. Your Instagram is Pete's Diary for everyone out there. Go check it out. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, how about you just give everyone a little intro to who you are?
Yeah, so my name is Peter. I'm 20 years old. From the Chicago area in a little town called Libertyville. I was born with a rare condition called Goldenhar syndrome. I guess that's where we could kind of start off. Let's see. So, for Goldenhar syndrome, for those that may not know, I guess you could call it. I guess with the package deal that I got with Goldenhar syndrome, I was born with a missing left ear or microtia. Tons of I had a open tracheostoma for about 19 years. 35 surgeries, so kind of quite a bit of a medical, I don't know what you call it.
Like a medical history, yeah.
Yeah.
And how old are you again?
20.
Nice, that's a great age, man. So yeah, you were born with Goldenhar syndrome. Seems like you've had a lot of, surgeries, a lot of medical attention. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like those are going to be ongoing, or do you think you have a lot of these surgeries behind you?
Well, I think I'm pretty much done with everything now. I mean, there's just kind of like, I don't know what you call it. Like, I wouldn't call it standard procedures, but just kind of some here and there stuff. Like actually a week ago, I had a gum tissue graft procedure. That was that was fun.
Oh, gum tissue graft procedure. What was the point of that?
It was like the gum line at the top of my the gum line at like some of my top teeth was starting to recede. So they basically took tissue from the back of my mouth and grafted it to the front. Like it wasn't really anything due to Goldenhar syndrome. It was just kind of one of those.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. You know, it wasn't caused by my syndrome. Yet it's does it kind of make sense what I'm trying to say? It's like it wasn't caused by my syndrome, but it was still kind of something else to go through.
Yeah, man. I have a eye disease called retinitis pigmentosa where it affects my peripheral vision and my ability to see in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
You know, unfortunately, when you have one thing, it doesn't prevent you from having other things. So I have bad knees.
Yeah.
You know,
yep.
I have a lot of different things going on too. But yeah, man, it's like just one thing at a time is what I always try to do. Focus on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's like I've had surgeries for like my airway and jaw. It's not like you tackle everything at once. It's like, okay, let's just take this year and focus on the jaw, and then and we'll look at the airway down the line, just one step at a time.
Yeah. So with Goldenhar syndrome, I was new to it. You know, you introduced me to it. I was doing some research on it, and you had said that you were born without a left ear.
Yep.
So you currently have a prosthetic left ear?
I do, but I don't really wear it anymore. It's kind of a it's kind of a pain to put on. You know, you have to get the special adhesive glue.
Okay.
Put it on the back, dry it, and then you got to line it up and stick it on. Which I mean, doesn't sound too terrible, but since it's, the ears on the side of my head, it's kind of hard to see what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I just kind of gave up on it. Probably, quite a while ago.
Yeah.
And I just kind of go without it. It doesn't really bother me. I mean, it never really bothered me that much before, but what it did help me with and why I kind of kept wearing it, it helped keep my glasses up because, one ear, the glasses just kind of dip to one side. So that's kind of the main reason why I wore it. But then I got contacts last year, and the ear, I'm like, I guess I don't really need to wear it anymore. So
yeah, I admit I saw a funny video that you had on your Instagram where someone asked you about, I can't remember their specific question, but it was like, do you ever have like, what's your main concern with like physical appearance or something like that? And then it cut to you and you had your ear on, and then it like you moved your head and it fell off. But it was all a joke, I laughed at that, man. That was funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. That was from TikTok. You're scrolling through and all that. I don't know if you're on TikTok or not, but you keep scrolling around on it, and that video just kind of popped up, and I'm like, that's too great of an opportunity to not pass up,
Yeah.
So that it was just one of those. Okay, I gotta jump at the opportunity there. It was too good to pass up.
Yeah. So I have to ask, you were born without a left ear, yet you're a really great guitar player. You have hearing aids in your left ear, or is it both ears or just one?
Well, the left ear isn't there, so
yeah.
So I don't have anything on the right side. The right side, that's been left alone. But the left side, what I have, it's called a Baha, and that's a bone anchored hearing aid. And basically, kind of the easiest way to think about my left side is the outer ear is not there, which is, I guess, kind of the most noticeable thing, right?
Yeah.
But all the inside stuff is still there. So like the cochlea, all the inner nerves and bones, it's all still there. So basically what my hearing aid does, it kind of acts like the outside ear. So I had a surgery quite a while ago where they basically, opened up my head and put a bone screw into my skull and put a magnet there and stitched it all up. So then the hearing aid sticks to that magnet, and then it causes, that bone screw to vibrate, and then it kind of helps causes the cochlea and nerves and all that to move as well. So it kind of acts like the outer ear. It's worked really well. It's great.
Have you seen the movie Sound of Metal?
I don't think so. I feel like I might have heard of it.
It came out in 2019, and okay. I love it. And it's basically about this this drummer who begins to lose his hearing, and he in the film he gets, I believe he may get that surgery.
You know what? I think I may have seen it. Okay, because I was just thinking about a movie with a drummer who was starting to lose his hearing, and I'm like, was that a different title? Okay, I think that is the movie.
But it's a fantastic film. If anyone out there hasn't seen it, I highly recommend it. It was like my favorite movie that I caught that year.
Really good.
But yeah, so it sounds like, you know, you were born without a left ear, but you've had a few surgeries to kind of correct it. And is your hearing, would you say, does it affect your guitar playing at all?
I mean, I could still hear well. I mean, like the right side isn't damaged or anything, you know, keeping the amps at a decent volume, I guess. But I mean, I don't know, not too much, I think. You know, you find ways around it. And it's strange because it's like, I don't know what it really is like to have two ears, even though I do have the hearing aid. I never had the other side. So to me, it's always been this way. You know, I haven't heard music differently like before or after with the Baja, you know, that kind of thing. So to me, it's just always been kind of, I guess, you know, my kind of normal, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes complete sense, man. It's like you only know what you know.
Well, it's funny too looking at it because when I was in like elementary school, I wore a hearing aid on a soft band for a while, and I didn't like the band because, you know, it really stood out. So I kind of fought wearing the hearing aid for quite a while. But was it funny enough? When I started to, you know, do test trials again, and then when I picked up the guitar and started playing, the kind of like new technology at the time, which I mean, it's always evolving, so it's probably, you know, light years ahead again with how cool it was in like 2016. But the hearing aid that I'm still wearing now has Bluetooth, so I stream music to my head all the time.
Oh, really? So hold on, yeah. It stream it to you.
Yeah, so it's like you got a Bluetooth on your phone, then you find you know, you can set up the hearing aid and all that, you know, you can find it and all that. That just stream music right to my head.
Oh wow.
And phone calls.
That's amazing. I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah, it's really cool. That's my favorite feature. I think that was the seller, not the fact that it would help me hear better, but the fact that I could stream music to my head.
Yeah, that's very interesting, and no one else can hear, right? Just you?
Well, it depends on how loud I have it.
Yeah, so you could have secret messaging, you know, people around.
Yeah, or like even like I joked with some people in high school. I'd always joke with them like, oh yeah, I'm listening to music, you know, right now, you know, and the teacher, she wouldn't know, or, you know, something like that. I did do that all the time. I was a good student for the most part.
Yeah, you could cheat. You could cheat on your tests, you know, like record audio of all the answers and just play it in. Yeah, see, you know, you'd have to have some integrity with that, you know. Might use it to my advantage sometimes, you know.
It's tempting.
All right, so you started playing guitar, am I right, when you at the age of 15?
Yep. Yeah, that's about the age.
So you've been playing about 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I started playing guitar when I was about 14 years old, and I am 30, and you are light years better than me. What's your secret, man? How did you progress so fast?
I mean, I think there's really no secret to it. I mean, as soon as I picked it up, I was just obsessed. Like, you know, it's kind of fun looking back at it because, like, you know, I guess like all throughout my life, you know, there's just kind of like looking back at it, there were kind of seeds that had been planted that kind of led to that moment. Like, you know, kind of being wowed by Eruption in the car, you know, years and years ago. when I still didn't really, know anything about music or, Van Halen and all that
Yeah.
as well. But I guess kind of, I don't know. I guess when I did pick up the guitar, I've been listening to a lot of music at that point, and it kind of boiled over to wanting to, it was more curiosity than anything else. I wanted to just pick it up and give it a try. It's like as soon as I picked it up and learned a chord or two, it's just like, okay, this is it. I'm ready to go. Go on YouTube, start looking up lessons and videos, and I was, hooked.
Did you ever have guitar lessons or anything like that?
Yeah, for like the first year, I just kind of stayed, it was just kind of at home, looking at YouTube videos, just kind of learning, just trying to figure it out to see if I was even going to stick with it, because I kind of had this long history of trying all these different things and not exactly sticking with it, like, did karate and
Yeah.
Cub Scouts and all this stuff. And it was like, okay, I thought it was cool for like a week, and then I was on to something else. But, with guitar, that was the first thing that really kind of stuck, and that I was really kind of excited and passionate about and didn't get tired of. So kind of for that first year, it was just kind of doing my own thing, just kind of learning songs and all that. And then eventually, there's a franchise called School of Rock.
I'm familiar.
They opened up a location like not even 5 minutes from where I live. So it was too cool of an opportunity to kind of get involved with that. Started taking lessons there, and got involved with the the band there and all that, and it was great. It was it was a lot of fun.
Nice, right on. Yeah, I took guitar lessons for about a year, very similar. And earlier in my childhood, my mom tried to sign me up for piano lessons.
Oh, yep, that's the same thing that happened with me too.
And it just never clicked with me. I guess I wasn't passionate about piano. Now I love piano, and I try to.
Yeah, now I wouldn't mind,
Exactly, yeah. But whenever I got a guitar, that's when I realized that, oh, I can play songs that I actually listen to,
Mm-hmm.
And that I think that's what kept me playing. Like if you're not a huge music lover, you're probably not gonna you're not gonna have the discipline to like learn an instrument. You have to really
right. And like I said, I've been really kind of invested in music for like a year before I picked up the guitar. So it was just kind of, kept listening.
Yeah.
And then that curiosity kind of, like I said earlier, just kind of peaked. And I'm like, I got to give this a try.
So it sounds like you're a big classic rock guy.
Yeah. I mean, my all-time favorite band is AC/DC.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Angus Young.
Yep.
Yeah, I see on your Instagram you play with an SG a lot.
Yeah, I play quite a few guitars, but the SG's always been a big favorite.
Yeah. I've always liked the look of SGs, but I always thought they were like they were always heavy, like the weight of them.
Oh, really? Huh. I've had that problem with I haven't got it. Well, I don't know. I got back problems too. So Les Pauls, I played those.
Yeah.
And I love how they sound, but it's like, man, if I try and do like, a 2-hour gig with these, I'm going to get scoliosis or something like that. So for me, it's like the SG is kind of like the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
You still kind of get a nice fat sound, and it won't break your back. And you got easy access to those upper frets as well.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I have I play with a Telecaster, so I'm like a Fender guy. So
yeah, I got a few strats around here too.
Yeah, I think if I ever invest in a new guitar, which won't be for a while, just because guitars are quite expensive. And
yes, yeah.
But yeah, if I think my next guitar is going to be a Strat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds great.
Just a classic Strat. I think I want to get like a all black Strat, with a black pick guard too.
Yeah, those have such a neat look and sound.
Yeah.
Kind of like Gilmore from Floyd.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he has such a good sound. So yeah, we're talking a little bit about gear, and like, are you a gearhead, or do you keep it simple?
I mean, like in terms of like effects and stuff, I like keeping it pretty simple. I like kind of messing around with some stuff, but for the most part, what I love doing just pretty much all the time, it's just guitar and amp. I like messing around with like a wah pedal or some stuff like that, or like I like phasers a little bit, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I do like just kind of guitar, amp, go to town, that kind of thing.
Yeah, throw some distortion on and you're good. I'm like the opposite. I like I like a lot of delay and reverb and echo. I like to get weird with it,
Yeah. I like kind of messing around with that too. But like for like gigs and stuff, no. when I am playing live, it's just kind of like just got to keep it simple and go for it.
That's the difference. I don't play gigs, so it's just me. It's just me plugging in. Like I don't even have an amp anymore. I have like this cheap like interface.
Oh, okay.
And I just plug my guitar in it, and then I use this music software Logic.
Yep.
And you can have all these sounds within Logic, and it's just kind of fun.
Yep.
And I had for a while, I was trying to build like a pedal board collection and things like that. But I was just like, I don't play live. So it was just I felt like I was like pretending or something.
Nah. If you're enjoying it, passionate about it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's, it's fun to tinker around with sounds and things like that. So yeah, you're a classic rock guy. Name some of the bands that you love playing and listening to?
Yeah, so I mentioned AC/DC earlier. They've always been, my big favorite. And was really excited when the new album came out a few months ago.
So you said AC/DC just put out a new album?
Yeah, it's called Power Up. They just came out with it kind of like towards the end of November.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, go check it out. It's great. So I've been jamming to that a lot. And
nice.
I think we talked earlier, or mentioned earlier, Slash is a really big influence and hero of mine. GNR, or his solo project with Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators, I really, really like that band as well.
Okay.
And I got, of course, like Zeppelin, Aerosmith, and then, some of the blues guys too, like Stevie Ray Vaughan, Gary Moore, Joe Bonamassa. I mean, those are kind of like more of like a rock blues edge. And then you got like, the classic blues stuff like B.B. King, Freddie King, Muddy Waters. So kind of like blues-based rock and roll. That's always been my favorite type of playing style.
Yeah, growing up, my dad's kind of he's all over the place with like music taste. Like 1 minute he'll be listening to Metallica, and then the next he'll be listening to like opera or Mozart or something like that. But yeah, I grew up listening to a lot of, classic rock like that. And my favorite guitar player that was always just kind of like made my head explode was Eddie Van Halen.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
R.I.P. Eddie Van Halen.
I know that really crushed me when everyone was heartbroken when when I heard that news. I'm still upset about it. I don't know if that's just kind of, that weight is just ever going to go away. It still hurts.
Yeah, man.
And the thing that I've always, that I'm just really bummed about is Van Halen's last tour was in 2015. And like 2016, like spring of 2016 was kind of when I picked up the guitar. So it's always kind of haunt me that it's like, if only I, got interested in music a little earlier, I could have possibly seen him live. So it really stings.
I've seen Van Halen live twice, man.
That's really cool. My dad was telling me, he said he saw him I think like in the 80s or something, like on the 1980s.
That's when I would want to see Van Halen, is in the 80s.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, like I'd just be happy to see Eddie, whether it was in the early or late 70s with Roth or 80s with Hagar, or the just anything. I'm just getting to see him live, no matter what it would have been. Something really cool to see. Especially since he's such an an innovator in what he did for the guitar and just broke all
Yeah.
those barriers.
Yeah, I'm a Roth era fan. I like both eras, but I lean way more towards the Roth era.
Yeah, I mean, I mean that debut album, I constantly listen to that. Like, I'm the One, whew, just that shuffle kind of thing. I think somebody described it as like ZZ Top on steroids. I love it.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, but besides Eddie Van Halen, I always liked The Edge too from YouTube. That's kind of like why I think a lot of bands use delay and things like that. Is they're
Yeah, like live, the band when I'm playing with Skull Rock, we do Streets Have No Name.
yeah.
And I got a nice kind of delay sound for that for the intro.
Yeah, man, that intro is like epic.
It's great, but it's what I call it's what I call a beautiful pain in the butt, because it's weird because it kind of fades in.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like trying to make sure everyone's looking at each other, synced up, and make sure you kind of get ready to hit it into the rest of the song. But it's like once you get past the intro, it's great.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. And a few other guitarists that I always found fascinating that my dad would play for me is Joe Satriani.
Yeah.
And Eric Johnson.
Yeah, both of those guys are fantastic. I mean, everyone's been telling me to learn Cliffs of Dover from Eric Johnson.
Yeah.
And I tried. I have like that, that first little bit of the intro down, but it's like, holy cow, just the fluidity and just that sound. It's really tough to nail.
Yeah, man. It's intricate. Yeah. And
yes.
Intricate stuff. So it sounds like you've been playing for 5 years. And how many hours a day do you typically put in?
I mean, I don't have like a set, it's not like a set schedule where I'm like, 2:00, time to play. It really has always been kind of like, practice when I kind of feel like it. But I still, pick it up once a day. And, maybe jam along to a song, noodle around. But when I'm not like actively playing, I'm still like constantly looking at, constantly, looking at new gear, looking at demos on YouTube, or concerts too. That can, especially if like I'm in a rut or something like that, I'll look up videos of maybe some bands that I love playing something, and then I'll see like, maybe I'll see like Jimmy Page do a lick or something, and I'll go, there we go. I'm gonna go learn that right now, or something like that.
Yeah, you gotta sometimes, inspiration doesn't come to you. You have to find it, and yeah, I find myself reminiscing of live music. So I go on YouTube and I watch bands playing live, and it's like, oh, I remember when this was a thing, and and that'll kind of like rejuvenate my appreciation for music. Sometimes I need to like listen to the hits that always. There's certain songs that no matter what, you haven't listened to them a while, but you come back to them and you're like, oh yeah, this song does something for me.
Yeah, like I hadn't heard let's see, album. It was actually it was a song. It's from one of Slash's solo projects with Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators. It's that band. And they have a song that I really love. And I hadn't heard it in a while, and I heard that for the first time in a little while the other day. And I'm like, oh, I got to go, jam along to this right now. And it was just kind of fun to kind of, I guess, reconnect with it or something like that.
Yeah.
Brush the cobwebs off of it a little bit. It was really fun.
You learn people's solos, and some of your favorite guitarists' solos, but you also are a songwriter.
Yeah, I mean, I've been working on some stuff with a drummer friend of mine. We just kind of, I'll come in with like a riff idea or something like that. And we'll just kind of jam along with it and just kind of, try and build up a structure and stuff like that. It's fun. Yeah. Yeah,
nice. Yeah, because you have a song out on Spotify, right?
Yeah, I do. It's kind of a bluesy inspired tune, like an acoustic thing. It's called "Can't Stop Staring," and it's kind of a song about my missing ear and all that.
Yeah, so it's called "Can't Stop Staring." So the lyrics are probably about people staring.
Yeah, and I make sure too, like if you look at like the little cover or whatever it is, it's like you can see that the ear, it's like a picture of me, and you can kind of tell that the ear is missing. So I don't know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What sparked the idea to like write a song about that topic?
Well, let's see. It kind of started. I've had experiences where people kind of do, I guess we call it like a double take when I'm out in public, like if they don't know me.
Yeah.
And I'm not like mad about it or anything like that, but it's like if you know, it's not every day you see somebody walking by who's missing an ear. So naturally, they'll do that kind of classic, I guess, like kind of double take. Um, which, like I said, no harm done or anything like that. But it's just, it does get a little annoying.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah, like you said, it's people might notice it, but I'm sure there's differences in the duration in which people stare.
Yes,
things like that. That probably you pick up on,
and I kind of like in the song too. There's kind of like was it like I think I sing about like a kid in like a shopping store who just kind of like kept kept staring or like wouldn't just look away.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
So how was singing, man? You're a guitar player. Do you like singing?
I mean, I'm still trying to work on my voice. I felt like it was right for this kind of bluesy tune. I don't really consider myself that great like of a singer. I'm still trying to work on it. But the thing with blues is there's kind of like something special about some of the, I guess you call it like imperfections.
Mm-hmm.
Like kind of like I guess kind of like the main thing I was looking at when I was kind of doing this tune. I was looking at inspirations for some of those old Delta blues artists. Like one of my favorites was Blind Willie Johnson. Kind of like he's kind of like a gospel blues slide player. And just kind of like some more like kind of those old school albums. They just kind of have that cool. I don't know. It's like if you listen to it, you can hear like some of the crackling in the background. It's not like clean and pristine like some like how some of the music today is. It's kind of got some of these imperfections in it, which really kind of make it special. Yeah. It's an interesting thing.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and most of the music I'm into, like my favorite vocalist, they're not like the best singers. Like you wouldn't hire them to sing the national anthem, but like for their voice fits for their band's sound and the type of music they make. So yeah, man, I think as long like a good voice is subjective, I think, so like,
and I always hear that like you're never going to like the sound of your own voice anyway. So I'm kind of like, all right, don't, just kind of stop worrying or thinking about the vocals and just go with it. Cause if it was like, I would have just sat there, I'd still be sitting there going, I could do this better, that kind of thing. You can't just keep critiquing yourself all the time. It's like, just relax, it's good.
Yeah. I that's actually, I learned guitar, and recently I've been having the most fun, like writing songs, and I've recorded a few of them, and I've had a few different projects. For those listening, maybe if you're curious, you can go on Spotify. I have a artist account under the name Lance Kestrel. And then I have a new project that I put some songs out last year called Still Stay. And both of those are on Spotify. And then, of course, go check out Peter's. What's your artist name? Is it just your name?
Yeah, it's just my name. So Peter Dankelson.
Yeah, and his song Can't Stop Staring, which I noticed is like it's an acoustic song.
Yeah, it's I mean, like I said, I definitely pulled all the inspiration from those old Delta blues artists. So it's just kind of me sitting there with an acoustic and a slide and just going for it.
Which is unique because you seem to be more of an electric player.
Yeah, I kind of think about I thought about that too. Like it's kind of funny. I'm like it's such a different thing from what I expect to be. As my first release.
Yeah,
and playing slide too. It's like the total opposite of what people would think.
Yeah. But the reason I I don't want people to think I was just like promoting my music, but I wanted to. I was just bringing up the fact that I have experience like recording my voice and recording music. So and you're right, man. You can get in your head about how your voice sounds, and it can be scary. I've worked with various producers, and that first time I recorded a song like vocals, it's terrifying because you're like, all right. Usually you sing by yourself when you're in your car or in your room.
Yeah.
But then when someone's recording you, you're like you feel like the spotlights just shine right on you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's what did somebody tell me? It's I think they had a nickname for it. It was I think they called it like red light syndrome or something like that, or like not syndrome, but like red light. I don't know. It's, just kind of like a funny kind of fear of as soon as that light goes on, it's like okay, you're under the It's like all right, this is where the magic happens. It's I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting, man. And then recording guitar to me is always the worst because you playing to a metronome, it has to be perfect. And
I don't really mind that too much. I kind of like
that's because you're good.
Well, I don't know. It's like if you can kind of get into the metronome, it's like a groove or something with what you're doing.
Yeah,
it works. Or like what I like doing, if the metronome is kind of just too annoying. There's drum tracks on YouTube that are just kind of like a straight ahead beat. It doesn't change or anything.
Yeah.
Maybe like a crash on the floor or something like that. But it's just like kind of a drum loop and it keeps going. And then that's kind of fun to kind of write ideas to because it's with like something that sounds like drums. It's not just a click, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It kind of brings it to life a little bit. So that's what I like doing.
Yeah, I do stuff like that in Logic where I'll do like a drum loop and then I'll play along to it and then I'll record like one layer and then I'll loop that and then I'll try to add and I'll pass like hours doing that. It's just fun.
Yeah. It's funny how the time can just slip by when you're working on something.
Yeah. And then you mentioned you play live sometimes. Do you play with a band or is it solo?
Well, it's still with School of Rock. I'm doing stuff with the band there. There's not really live shows going on right now. We managed to do a few things over the summer, like just kind of get to a restaurant or something like that and play. But overall, not like anything too crazy. But actually, last night I was at a open mic thing, and that was great to just kind of get up and play.
Yeah,
so
Yeah. I forget about open mics. Are they so the pandemic's still letting open mics go on?
Yeah, I guess.
Or is it some secret underground
Maybe,
open mic?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, open mics. Do you get nervous playing in front of people?
Like last night when I played, it was like first song you're a little nervous, but then you kind of loosen up the more you go.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. I think it's normal for everyone a little bit. You just
Yeah.
First song or two you're a little nervous or something, and then it's like after that it's like all right, I'm good. Let's go.
Yeah. Do you consider yourself like pretty confident in your playing? Like, do you ever second guess your playing?
No. I mean, I just kind of like when soloing or something. It's like just kind of go for it and see what happens.
Yeah.
That's kind of fun too because it's like when I do go off the rails, it's like how do you kind of bounce back and kind of roll back into it. That's like half the fun, to be honest. It's it's an interesting kind of battle, I guess you could call it. It's fun.
Yeah. Because I feel like confidence in music is such a necessary thing, to really go like all in, whether it's singing or playing, you need to have complete confidence in yourself. If you hold back at all, like people will be able to hear it,
Yeah. No, yeah, you're right. It definitely kind of comes through a little bit. So
like me personally, like playing an instrument, like playing guitar is like, it's like it's therapeutic. If I have a guitar in my hand, I feel more chill, I'm more relaxed. You know, I can just tinker around a guitar while I'm like watching a TV show, and you know, everyone around me hates me for doing that, but you know, it's nice for me. But yeah, I just like having a guitar in my hand, and like it's helped me express myself, you know, writing songs and just certain moods. I play certain types of songs, and how has guitar playing, you know, helped you emotionally and like as you grow up? You know, you started when you're 15, now you're 20. Those are pretty major years in your development. How has guitar helped you in that regard?
This is kind of a excuse me. This is kind of a big one because interestingly enough, like right at the time when I picked up the guitar, you know, kind of towards the end of my freshman year, pretty much all throughout high school, I kind of had a surgery every summer, and two of those were pretty, you know, massive ones. So the summer in between my sophomore and junior year of high school, I had a jaw reconstructive surgery, and so you know they basically custom made a TMJ joint for my left jaw because I had a rib grafted there when I was really little. I don't remember what age, but like, you know, under the age of 4. So that rib graft had been there for quite a few years. But you know, you as you grow up and all that, you know, your body's changing and stuff. So I guess it didn't quite fit anymore. So they kind of, I guess, replaced it essentially, and then they moved the lower jaw out and put that joint there. And it was just this whole big summer of recovery and stuff. But I'm really glad that I was kind of learning guitar at that time because it really kind of helped keep my mind occupied when everything was kind of leading up to that. Like if I was kind of nervous about, you know, news from the doctor or something like that about, you know, what would be going on, I just kind of listen to music or play the guitar, and it would be, you know, it would calm me down. And the other really big one was it was let's see, it was the summer after my senior year. So I think it was kind of like, it was September of 2019. Actually, this one was kind of more unexpected. Basically, I had an open stoma in my neck for 19 years. And the open stoma, it's basically a hole in your neck because my airway with Goldenhar syndrome, one of the things that I have with my airway is that it's really, really small. So I had an open stoma there for, you know, 19 years because it helped me breathe better. And thanks to that jaw surgery that I just talked about, my airway was bigger because that lower jaw was moved forward. So it's kind of like, I think what we talked about earlier, with, you know, just kind of taking everything one thing at a time. You know, did that jaw surgery first and then moved on to the airway. So kind of that whole summer, I got to go on like a small week-long tour with a School of Rock called All Stars. And that was huge because, you know, I had to learn all the songs for that during the summer. And then, you know, went on that big tour. And that was fantastic. And I had a lot of fun with that. And kind of, you know, coming home from that, kept playing and, you know, learning some stuff. And then I went into the hospital for the big surgery. And the interesting thing about that one was, I mean, it was expected because I always knew that I was going to need to get the thing closed. But with this jaw surgery that I had before that, I'd always known that I was going to need to have it. So it was kind of a loony thing in my life. So it's like, okay, I know I'm going to need this, but I could still kind of mentally prepare for it. But with the airway, it was just kind of a little bit more of a surprise because I kind of thought it was going to be a, you know, just stitch it closed and then you're good to go, right? But of course, it had to be more complicated than that. And it turned out to be this whole kind of crazy thing where they took, you know, cartilage from my thyroid and grafted it to that stoma. And then I was in ICU for like a week and all that. So it was just kind of this whole really kind of scary thing. I mean, it all went well, but, you know, it was just kind of quite a ride, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it sounds
but
scary.
But, you know, playing guitar before that, even like, you know, once I was well enough, you know, off of, you know, some of the machines and stuff, once I was able to, I had a guitar in my hands and was playing, and, went down to the music therapy room and all that. And it really kind of helped me cope. I was listening to music too. I mean, I was on a ventilator basically, and for the week after the surgery, and when I was waking up after a follow-up procedure, my dad was playing one of my favorite AC/DC tunes, Riff Raff, so I could vividly recall, as everything was kind of coming back as I was waking up, I could hear Angus and Malcolm and the band playing as I was waking up, and I was tapping my foot and all that. So music really helped me get through that. It was something really special.
Yeah, man, music is it's almost like a drug sometimes, man.
It is, yeah.
Antidepressant, whatever you need, it can be it's just, I'm that's amazing, man. I'm glad that music was able to help you, and I just couldn't imagine, it's bizarre to me that some people just don't like music. Some people just don't listen.
I don't understand that. I'm like, how? Like, how can you just not like find,
yeah,
something that gets you or grabs your attention? And
yeah,
I don't know. I couldn't imagine anything without music.
yeah. So Riff Raff was the song your dad played.
Yes, yeah, I love that song so much.
That's awesome, man. Were you able to play any guitar in the hospital?
Yeah, it's like as soon as I was able to, we brought an acoustic in from home, and I would just kind of sit up, whether it was on like a sofa or something, or with that, and just kind of play. Didn't have to be anything in particular, just at least, having one in my hand and just kind of playing, just really kind of helped me relax.
Yeah, man. And guitar playing, like, not only can it help you relax, but it's like, it's a great way to pass some time too. Like during the pandemic, you're locked inside all day. It's like, if you're a guitar player, hey, that's not too bad, because at least you have a guitar.
Right. I know, like when everything first shut down, it was like I was learning all these new songs and solos and stuff, and really kind of working on some stuff, and it was fun. But now it's like, okay, now I want to put all this stuff to the test, live. Still waiting for that.
Yeah. So speaking of that, right now you're kind of limited to what you can do as a musician. You're full force on social media, on TikTok. You have a large following. You have about how many TikTok followers do you have?
I think it's over 250K, I think.
Yeah, it's a lot. And then you have over 100 on Instagram. Your Instagram account is at Pete's_diary. So Pete's.diary for those listening. That's right. I got that. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Cool. You also have a website, and I was going to bring it up because, Pete's Diary, the website, is started as a blog from your mom, right?
Yeah. So basically how that started, Pete's Diary, that kind of started with, let's see. Well, it started when I was born. When I was in the hospital, I was born in 2000. So, there wasn't like any social media at the time. Like, Facebook was just probably, I don't know. But, there wasn't like any social media then. So to keep my family updated on what was going on with me at the time for the, first few months of my life that I was in the NICU, Mom would just kind of send, I guess it was these emails or something to all my family members as like diary entries.
Yeah.
She'd kind of, write them in my voice, that kind of thing. It just kind of, it helped her a lot because, with all the stuff that I was going through, it was tough on, her and Dad and all that, everyone. So so it really helped her, I think. And it also kept my family updated on what was going on with me at the time, whatever doctor I was seeing that day or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I bet your mom's proud of you, from just being born, you are 20 years old. You got people looking up to you, and I think that's neat, man.
It is really cool.
And it's kind of, for those interested, you can kind of follow your journey, right, through Pete's Diary.
Yeah. I mean, we're constantly posting stuff out there, guitar covers and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so you have this kind of online persona going on, which is great, and I'm enjoying your content. But I have a feeling that your real motivation is just being a guitar player, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's always the big thing.
Yeah.
It's just I love playing. That's just really as simple as it is.
Yeah. So do you have dreams or aspirations to be a full-time musician, or what do you envision for yourself coming up?
Well, I let's see. I mean, I'd like to try and get a band together. I mean, like I said, I've been working with a drummer friend of mine on some, original riffs and material. But it's like gotta find someone to sing it.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I've been trying singing, but I'm not the voice. Or who knows? I mean, like I said earlier, no one likes the sound of their own voice, so who knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's tough. So right now it's just kind of, I guess, it's demoing stuff, and but I really would like to try and put out like an EP or something like that, like just really kind of put out a big collection of songs, and those would be more, I guess you'd say, rock and roll. They'd have that kind of grit to them.
Yeah, man. And you don't have to sing every song, man. I think I feel like there's a huge market for instrumentals and things like that.
I mean, like I said, my friend Ryan, he was over here a few days ago, and I had this idea. We were kind of messing around. He's like, "Do you want to just try and do this as an instrumental?" I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah. It's with instrumental type of music. The sound, basically, how I look at it is the guitar becomes the vocals.
And that's kind of how a riff that I kind of came up with. It was, I don't know, it's kind of this goofy thing, and I'm like, how would somebody sing over this? And that was kind of the thing where it was like, yeah, okay, maybe this could be a cool instrumental.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with that song, but right now, I know it's kind of cool, man.
I'm sure you'll find a band that you'll vibe with, and things will take off from there. I think just keep sticking to it, and you're a young man, so it's like you got some time, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're getting a lot of attention online, and I think it's well deserved. You also are a public speaker.
Yeah, I mean, before the pandemic hit and all that stuff, I was sharing my story with middle schoolers pretty much all over the country. With it's Pete's Diary kind of has evolved from being the, I guess you could call it, the hospital book of keeping families updated. It evolved into this company now, where me and my mom, what we're doing is in addition to the guitar covers on Pete's Diary, we have all these like motivational kind of content and quotes that we put out. It just kind of helps you think and be positive, and maybe you could kind of, I don't know, put life into perspective a little bit and just kind of uplift you.
Yeah.
And that's what we do at schools too. The big thing that we always say when we did speak with students is I'd share my story with them, like what I'm kind of doing now. I'd share like my stories of being in the hospital, and kind of some of the hardships that I've had to go through medically, but also kind of talk about like how I've overcome it and how I don't let all the stuff that I've gone through, I guess, define me, if it makes sense. Like I always say that I could, I have a choice. Like I could really kind of get all down and upset about all the stuff that I've had to go through, or you can just kind of I guess kind of power through it, and like the guitar. I mean, it really kind of helped me out with that. So basically, it's all about we call it like amplifying kindness, and just trying to, it's really cool.
Yeah, I think it is very cool. I like, the messaging there, having this podcast, I'm trying to, my tagline that I always say is like, it's called the See-Through Podcast because I'm trying to create, transparency on disabilities and, and the champions with them. And I'm trying to spread, positive messages, but I also want to spread real and raw messages, where
Right.
I'm not sugarcoating anything, there are difficulties with disabilities, but there are not only negatives and there are not only difficulties with a disability.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you spread that message perfectly. So I was very excited and honored to have you on, man. So thanks for talking with me.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, thank you for reaching out. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah. And before I let you go, I always let my guest close out the episode with they get to promote like a nonprofit or charity or a company or any organization or even person that they want to give a shout out to that you want to put on people's radars. And feel free to self-promote, man.
Oh man, there's a lot of like great charities that I've been involved with. I guess two that I'll name off the top of my head. There's so many. So I feel bad about leaving them out. But
you can list multiple if you want.
We do stuff with a charity called Harmony for Hope, and basically what I do with them is I do what they call rare storytellers. I mean, basically I share my story with medical students and kind of share my kind of life story and experiences in the hospital. And also, again, Harmony for Hope, it's tied into music as well. So it's kind of like the perfect, I guess you call it like the perfect fit, because I get to share my story and kind of, with these medical students, that are going to go into the medical field and kind of, show them what, my life is like as a patient, with my experiences and stuff. And, there's also like a bunch of music stuff that we get to do as well. So it's really cool. And then the other charity too that we've been involved with for a very, very long time, since I was about 4, is it's a charity called Children's Craniofacial Association, or a CCA. And one of my favorite things that CCA does, unfortunately, haven't gotten to this year or the last year, but we typically do an annual retreat every year. And it's it's so great because it's families from all over the country, and it's in a different location every year. So like 1 year this retreat was in Arizona, or California or Virginia, some it's everywhere, right? And we just kind of get together for a weekend, and it's with kids, and it's with families like me that have gone through all these medical challenges and stuff. But it's just so powerful because I get to meet kids like me who've gone through all these medical challenges, but also parents get to meet each other and kind of they share that special connection, and siblings too. Like my brother has tons of friends there as well, and they all understand. There's just kind of that connection, and it's just a really big supportive community. That's always been really near and dear to my heart.
That's awesome, man. So that was, can you repeat the names of both of those?
Yeah, so it's so the first one that I talked about, it's Harmony for Hope, and then it's Children's Craniofacial Association, or CCA.
Cool. Yeah, and if you're listening and those sound up your alley and you want to learn more about those, just click on the show description and you'll find some links there to click. So. Well, Pete, man, this is a pure joy to chat with you, man, and value your time. So I think it's time to go. But I look forward to, keeping in touch with you, man. I'm curious to see where your music career goes, and everyone out there, definitely go give Pete a follow at Pete's Diary.
Yeah, again, thank you so much for having me on here. This was awesome.
Right on, man. All right, until next time, take care, man. And that does it for episode 21 of this podcast. I really, really appreciate everyone listening. And if you haven't yet, go give Pete a follow. His videos will blow your mind. And like we discussed earlier in the episode, if you visit petesdiary.com, you will be able to follow Pete's entire story. And if you haven't yet, please follow or subscribe to this podcast on whatever platform you stream podcasts on. If you're a fan of this show and you like what you hear in this episode, go back and listen to the other 20 episodes I have. And feel free to share it with some friends or loved ones. But I think that does it for this episode. Thanks so much for listening. And until next week, stay transparent.